I'm Dylan Ratigan. I've interviewed nearly every CEO and most world leaders during the past 25 years. And now on Bootstrapping, I'm turning my attention to the new CEOs and the irrepressible entrepreneurs leading the next generation of innovation in the world. Welcome back to tastylive. I am Dylan Ratigan. Time for another episode of Bootstrapping. Haven Allen, my guest, his company, MHub. And if you read some of the materials, this is a very physically oriented. You are a fundamentalist, it seems, almost in terms of what you get involved with, and if it doesn't have a physical manifestation, it's not for you. Is that too extreme of an interpretation of your?
Not at all. I mean, we in our day have supported over 500 Hardtech companies and really have a goal of reinvigorating U.S. manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. And so, what is the scope of Hardtech? Does it range from biotech manufacturing, advanced materials manufacturing, automotive?
We incorporate a lot of those technologies, but at least the areas where we're investing a lot today is in like the medical device space. So that confluence of like hardware, physical, and digital world. So a lot of smart technologies. We're doing a ton in climate and energy as well as smart and sustainable manufacturing. I think today there's like
Some
200.
examples?
Huh?
Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, so like on our climate, we invested in a startup out of Argonne National Labs that's essentially taking plastic and they break it down to the molecular level, and then they're able to upcycle that and create things like new lubricants, new waxes, and suffocants.
Okay.
There's
So basically things that are part of processing the circular transition of materials from waste to product and back again.
Yep, in that example, yeah.
Yeah. Um, what like I it's you're in a very narrow place, right? Most of the venture money is targeted towards infinitely scalable, low cost of production, low cost of replication, investment. Whether it's AI, whether it's any subscription to anything that's ever happened, or any set of eyeballs that have ever done anything. How do you get comfortable with the fact that by definition, scaling a hard tech business has more friction and more cost and less leverage?
Yeah, no, I mean, you point out a great point. It's like for every $15 going to AI software SaaS businesses, there's one available if you have a physical product related company. I don't know. We're encouraged. I mean, we take very much a focus on how do you de-risk businesses. So, MHub, we have a facility with about $6 million worth of prototyping and testing equipment. So no longer does a startup need to have capital expense to have access to develop new technologies. There's about 600 engineers here, so they can tap into skill sets to help them advance their products. And then at the end of the day, we were founded by manufacturing and industry. It was groups like Molex and GE and Underwriters Laboratory that underwrote this place as a means of creating a place-based asset where all this innovation could come together. But then they're engaging and providing pilots and customer opportunities from day one. So yeah, I mean, we align with industry, we de-risk the investments. We are early investors ourselves and generally taking the riskiest position at seed and pre-seed. And we're having good outcomes and we're encouraged by the data. I mean, this last year has been really hard for venture capital, but not in medical devices, not in climate and energy, and not in sustainable technologies. Where SaaS would be down 60% on book value, we essentially held par. And there's a lot of I think when we talk to fund managers, a need to further diversify away from just software. And AI is coming. AI, like software ate hardware's lunch. That's what they're saying now about AI. No longer AI can develop a lot of software technologies that weren't available now. So that's going to become a commoditized activity. Not AI, but like some of the software.
No. I'm just thinking about sort of how the bifurcation of the whole thing. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, the money that you're investing or the money that's the third party capital that you're arranging, allocating, enrolling, referring whatever your relationship is, how much of that capital is motivated by a political position towards domestic manufacturing, a moral position towards domestic manufacturing and national security, and how much of it do you think is motivated by pure IRR?
I think it's a good overlapping circle there. We focus on what we'd say are technologies that impact humanity. We need to improve health outcomes. We need to advance medical and physical products. There's an existential crisis with climate and energy. Technology is going to solve that, and you need really hardware to drive that. And ultimately, we're still very much a consumption-oriented economy, and we need to figure out how to produce more with less impact. And so that's sort of from where we're at from a moral standpoint. I think there is definitely a drive to create meaningful middle-income jobs in this country today, and manufacturing is a great way to do that. When you look at, economics, they have great money multiplier, job multiplier effects from an economy standpoint. And then it is an area that's underinvested. So we have an opportunity to buy in at some really good pricing or market rates. And then we're connecting the teams with industry so that we can drive a much quicker exit and not have to wait 10, 12 years or wait for an IPO on the private market, sort of stop funding these.
Where basically you're running an orchard where you can more rapidly ripen the fruit and get it into someone else's portfolio more quickly.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
You're like an orchard keeper. You're like
I got 275 trees here right now. Some of them are buried.
Running around, checking on them. One's in blossom, one's fruiting, one's been on too long. It's got to go.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's been pretty phenomenal. I think the company that's currently has the highest market cap actually isn't the most advanced technology. It's a company called Greenlight Planet. They developed a low-tech solar lamp that charges during the day, provides light and ability to charge, and develop distribution channels throughout Africa. And they just closed around maybe 6 months ago, led by General Atlantic, that priced them just under $1 billion. And saw a need that was not being addressed by the market, created a product that had good margins, and then had a social cause, but have grown pretty phenomenally.
Yeah, but most importantly, had the distribution, which sounds like the hardest piece of that puzzle.
Right.
More than making the product.
Absolutely.
Where do you recruit your operator, your newcos from? The new trees. Are you targeting universities? Are you doing cohorts like an accelerator where you have a class and you bring people in, or what's your filter for at the top of your funnel?
There's two different funnels. There's the general incubator. So anybody that's building a physical product that is focused on creating a business and commercializing it can apply. They pay $300 a month to have access to all the equipment. We take no.
And you're basically a magnet for them because you're a rare. They know of your existence because you're a rare bird.
Absolutely.
So you.
And yeah, I would say a lot of universities, a lot of spin outs out of manufacturers, and then our national labs are great feeders for us. On the accelerator investment side, we'll partner with industry again. Like right now, we're active in our climate and energy cohort. We partnered with Invenergy and Constellation to define what we thought were the 10 biggest market opportunities and ones that those companies were willing to invest, provide pilots, really engage. We'll put out a call nationally for teams, and we'll get a global sort of poll, but hundreds of applications, and ultimately select about 8 to invest in. So yeah, I mean, once we started investing, it took what was sort of a very regional pipeline and now has made it a global pipeline.
And when you invest, you assume always a management role of some kind and an accelerator, like you assume an incubator responsibility as in addition to providing the money, or do you sometimes provide money and leave them be?
No, we take a very active role. I mean, it's a 6-month intensive program where we're both re-engineering their products, designing for manufacturing, help us establish a supply chain connected with pilots, but then really trying to build that business and leadership capacity within them. Beyond the 6 months, they continue having access to mHub for another 18 months. So it's 2 years of how do we keep this risk profile low? And then we're helping them find more customers and investors to continue to scale up their
Mhm.
business.
And then, for instance, with that solar light you mentioned in Africa, was that light manufactured at the MHub facility?
Early prototypes, yeah. I mean, you can do essentially your first unit to what we would call market validation. And then at that point, we connect you with US manufacturers. Our teams do manufacture all over the world, but we've established a US manufacturing ecosystem of about 500 manufacturers.
And where they'll give you looks, basically, where you say I've got one, a good one, they'll take the meeting.
Yeah, they'll work with price sensitive and credit unworthy startups and help them scale up. And
Right. Um, what's the social culture? In other words, because it's physical, do you have more people in the building because you're doing things, or is it what's the physical space like? Is it a robots, and is it a empty room of robots, or is it a room of people?
We have an 80,000 square foot facility we just bought last year. And about a quarter of that's dedicated to prototyping, manufacturing, testing equipment. And then we have 2 floors that are like either shared workspace or private offices and private labs. And it's not just startups. I mean, we have very large manufacturing companies that are embedding in here as well with their own innovation teams for the same reasons. Like they can have access to equipment, they have a talent pool that they can tap into, and then there's just tons of networking opportunities that we provide. So yeah, I mean, even during COVID, we never shut our doors. We actually leaned in as an organization. Our engineers sort of dropped their work and started making ventilators and air purifying respirators and doing that for FEMA and IEMA for all over the country.
Mm-hmm. And what's next? What is your sort of vision? Why are you doing this interview? What are you imagining the next 36 months offers, both to MHub and also from MHub to the world?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited that people are really taking a look. I think post COVID at the role physical products, manufacturing, U.S. supply chain plays in growing a vibrant economy, and we're seeing a lot of industry and investors sort of leaning in, and government as well. So definitely excited there. I mean, with our investment here, we were organized $51 million to buy and construct out this building, and did so in an opportunity zone and right at the end of Fulton Market. So like right where traditional manufacturing is, right connected where sort of the hottest growing tech part of Chicago is, and really want to become a bridge between those two communities to accelerate what we think could be a unique opportunity to capture some of these growth markets.
All right. So now imagine you had a friend who had an idea for a car.
Yeah.
And imagine you had 80,000 square feet between the tech capital and the manufacturing capital of Chicago, and your friend wanted to make a car. Can you help him out? Or is that
We
too much?
could.
Could
I
you make
mean,
a car in there? One car, just once.
yeah, we could definitely do one car here. We've joked
Have
around.
you?
We have not. We've done some motorcycles. We've done some personal like electric vehicles, some like
Three
renewable
wheelers and
powered, yeah, 3 wheelers and things of that nature. But yeah, we've joked around like buying an old junker and turning it into like a classic EV car here, and we would have all
full
the tools to do it.
the
But
full M Hub car. That because you're making big statements. You're talking a
yeah,
big game. You're Mr. Oh, Hardtech this, Hardtech that. We
yep,
make things, Mr. Tough Guy makes things. Okay, show me your car.
yeah,
You
no,
know, that's like that's the holy grail, right? But
absolutely,
motorcycle's pretty good. Anyway, it's a real pleasure to meet you. I'm breaking your chops, but it's fantastic. It sounds thrilling, and it's great to have so many resources to do something like that. It's really cool.
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. M Hub, Haven Allen. I'm Dylan Ratigan. This is Tasty Live. We're back after this.